You know, working in an agency for the last 6 or 7 years, I've seen some really interesting trends, and they all lead to one place: your website. The last few years have been very transformative for many businesses, for many ways we behave online. If you're a business owner or a marketer, in this video I'm going to cover why I think websites are going to have an important role to play in the future, and why businesses that start investing and working more on the websites today will benefit humongously in the future. The younger Gen Z generation are finding most of their products and services on TikTok and Instagram and social media platforms. They already know how to use the internet very well. There's a lot of trust for buying products online these days. This is not going to change. This behavioral pattern is not going to change. This is not just, okay, so everybody gonna shop online. Definitely it's a smart idea to invest in the website. No, there's other things you can do to really secure your future. And this is not just for search engine and Google. It's about finding ways to optimize it for ChatGPT and other LLMs, which obviously will increase in popularity as we go into the future. And today I will cover those points in detail and where I think you should be focusing on rather than other elements in terms of your digital presence. So what does your website have, if you think about it, like in terms of content? It obviously has the information about your business, where it's located, what you serve, what you offer to your clients, your expertise. So maybe in your actual content, you actually talk about who's your ideal customer and where can you help them. And then you also have your experience. Maybe you have a few case studies on your website, some results, some statistics. So if you notice, your website has a lot of information about your business, and there is no limit of how much information you can put in it, right? Your website is a publicly available piece of content. So Google, ChatGPT, and many other LLMs out there, they use your website to gather information about you. So basically what I'm saying is, the more quality information you have on your website, the more the LLMs and the crawlers can understand what you offer and who is it for. So it's really important moving into the future and even now to invest in your website content. So all those crawlers and all those external search engines will understand more about your website and will be able to gather that information to give it to someone who's looking for your particular service. You know, if people are looking for services or products in the future, they will be a little descriptive about what they want exactly. And if your website has that information that aligns with what they're searching for, obviously you'll be recommended at the top. So in terms of how it is different to today, basically all those LLMs do get information not just from the technical backend sort of stuff like speed and, you know, the usability of your site, but it's very much about the content. So your content needs to be very descriptive and have quality. But this is not everything. There's a lot of other work you can do outside your website to make your business more successful in the future, and I'm going to cover that right now. You know, a lot of people find it a little bit challenging to do, like, you know, try to find backlinks and things like that when it comes to SEO, but I'll show you some simple tasks that you can do in order to improve that performance outside your website. Now I'll tell you a little story. Basically, we work with a mortgage broker, and one of the things we noticed that when we testing different LLMs, like in terms of like, hey, give me the top brokers in this area, I'm a first home buyer. We searched that in ChatGPT in order to find if our client was ranking at the top. Once we got the result back, we noticed that the client wasn't ranking in the top 5 that ChatGPT recommended. And then we asked ChatGPT, why you're not recommending this particular business? And then it gave us some interesting results. ChatGPT was actually ranking the brokers in that area based on a website that was saying, hey, this is the top brokers in this area. So it's like an external website that, you know, that was ranking well in Google, and that's what it based it on. The second thing was listings. So the amount of listings the top 5 brokers had, that also came into consideration when ChatGPT was ranking those websites. So basically, ChatGPT goes out there and searches different sources in order to give you the best result. So that means that if you have good visibility on the internet, whether it's on listing websites, whether it's on websites that are recommending the top brokers, even social media, then your business will have a better chance to rank amongst the top competitors. So what does that mean? Basically, business listings, there's many websites out there that you can just rank for free. You just list your website. Some of them charge you money, but there's a lot of listings that don't. I recommend working on business listings, even though a lot of SEO specialists say, oh, it doesn't help that much. It's like something you do once and that's it. I think that if you get this right from the start and also continuously look for new listings where you can list your website, then it's a good idea, especially if your business is not just local, it sort of serves like the whole nation. Definitely get your site listed with a lot of detail, obviously good information in as many websites as you can. Brand mentions and backlinks. So obviously this is more of the SEO sort of work. Backlinks are pretty hard to get because you need to do quite a bit of work for them, unless you have good content on your website, and then you get backlinks organically. But basically, if you can get some brand mentions on other websites and just get more exposure out there on different sites, your friends' sites, or collaborations, or if you have B2B clients, maybe getting some guest posts on their website mentioning your brand, those are all good ideas in order for you to get more visibility and obviously get more rankings in those LLMs. Social media content as well is becoming a big part of the internet, and a lot of people finding their products and services there. Not to mention those LLMs will be able to, some of them can already do that, but they can go and crawl content on social media platforms, which means the more your business shows in different platforms and different social media accounts, then obviously your website will probably have a better chance of ranking compared to your competitors. So as you can see, all those things come to one conclusion. Websites are becoming a more important part of our business. The more it is visible online, the more good reviews out there for it, the more content you have on your website that gives a contextual perspective of what you offer, what your services cover, which areas you cover. All those points go towards ranking you better in ChatGPT and many other LLMs as they come around in the future. I just wanted to show you what ChatGPT gave me of what it used to rank those brokers. So you can see one website is like our top 10 best 10 mortgage brokers, Sydney Reviews. So again, getting your website on all those listings for free. A lot of them are for free, so get it out there. But basically, the more your brand is mentioned out there, the more listings you can do. That could be game changing for your business in the future, and obviously get you more traffic, more leads, more business. So again, there is little gold nuggets like that you can do to improve your visibility online. Obviously, if you hire someone like for a month full time just to work on listing you everywhere, give them a brief on the information you want in those listings, that sort of work, as you can see, can get you ranking in the top positions in those LLMs like ChatGPT. Okay, things are changing very, very fast online, and I want to show you what's happening through all the industries, all the rankings on Google. This is what's happening to many, many websites. As you can see, since when ChatGPT was released, what you've been seeing over the time since it was released is that businesses are still getting impressions. So that means they're visible. They can, people can see them, but people are getting much, much less clicks. And this is just two different websites that we manage. And you can see there is a trend there where the clicks are going down at the moment for the last few months, and they're sort of stabilized. Some of them looks like it's going up as well. But the thing that's happening is basically a lot of like how, why, what questions are being answered by the AI feature that Google has introduced in the last year and a half. So that means that basically people are just getting the information they need without having to go into a website or a blog to get that information. That kind of sucks for a lot of businesses that depended a lot on SEO. But on the other hand, that means that it opens up a lot of more opportunities to answer more detailed questions. So if your website has really good high quality content that goes deeper than just the what, why, how questions, then that is another opportunity for you to get more traffic to your website rather than just being shown as like a side citation for those AI features on Google. Another thing to prepare for the future, that if Google is not giving as much clicks anymore, then we need to start diversify where we get clicks from. So now that we see that Google is giving us less clicks because it's basically using people's information to answer the questions without even having people clicking on websites. So that kind of sucks, and there's a lot of like backlash because of that at the moment, but it does give us an indication of what businesses need to do moving into the future. And that is, we need to start diversifying our work to appear in other areas outside of Google. So again, we need to stop focusing on the how, what, which, why questions. Before I talk about diversifying our visibility online and how to do that, I just wanted to show you what the AI snippet looks like. So as you can see, the citations are here on the right. No one really goes into it because the answer is right in front of them, right? So from my research, any question that starts with a how, what, which, and why, you don't want to do that anymore, because it appears that the AI generative response will just give the answer straight up to the person who is searching it. So forget about that. Forget about those questions. Don't make blogs about those questions. Try to go deeper and create more trending, deep technical sort of articles that provide more value, that obviously people need to go deeper than just those sort of easy questions to answer. The next graph will give you a nice perspective of what's happening online in terms of traffic and in terms of search queries. So this graph, just going into it, explaining it very simply, it shows you the amount of visits each of the platforms have. We see the search results, obviously Google, Bing are the biggest ones. Google with over 1,631 billion total visits with a B, and then 60 billion for Microsoft. So obviously Google is the huge one. And then you got ChatGPT, which is the biggest one. But what I wanted to show you is that it's crazy to think that in the last, 2 years since ChatGPT came out, look how big of that pie, LLM search engines like ChatGPT, it basically surpassed like the top 2, a little bit under the second biggest search engine. But still, it's pretty good result. And I think this pie will keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. This trend basically shows you that since April 2024 till around March this year, you can see it nearly double, and it's just going to continue in that trend, especially as they get better and chatbots invest more in basically understanding what people want and how to give it to them easily. It basically affirms what I said before, that your website is becoming more and more important, because all those LLMs and the old search engines that we use still use a lot of information from your site in order to rank you. Again, they also use other websites to understand whether you should be a good option to rank when people search for products and services. So yes, your website is becoming more and more important, especially as the trend shows. We are still going to use websites and online shops and e-commerce in order to get our products and services. So this information basically affirms what I said before, that your website is becoming more important, because a lot of those LLMs and the old search engines still very much depend on your website to rank you. And as more people use LLMs, as we move into the future, it will be almost secondary for us to go physically into a shop to buy something. We will ask AI to buy for us, and the AI will obviously need information to understand what we want and what we need and what's best for us. And where can it get that information? Obviously from public available content, which is your website and other websites on the internet. So that is a very, very important point for any business out there. Now let's go through the challenges that we are going to have as businesses and marketers as we move into the future. And I kept it simple. You will find that it's a bit challenging, but if we focus on those things now and understand that those things will drive the needle in the future for us, then we will be okay and it will be worth our effort. So let's have a look at that. So obviously we need to do more with less. We have a lot of work as it is, as marketers, as business owners, but what we need to do is really focus on creating more content, whether it's social media, whether it's blogging on our site, whether it's improving the pages we currently have on our site, in order for us to rank higher. There's no real guarantee that every little bit of effort that we do, putting our name in a listing website or creating a blog in our collaborations partner website, is going to help. But businesses that invest and push and create a lot of content and basically do as much as they can in terms of things they're doing in their website and outside their website, all those things will help significantly in the future, because all that information will be available for LLMs and for the search engines in order for them to make a decision whether your site is worth being ranked. Obviously, the problem is bigger brands have the upper hand. They have more employees, they have more money to invest in this sort of stuff. However, if we make little compounding effort every week, every day, we do a little piece of content, or we smartly spend a little bit of money in order to create a lot of visibility online, then all those little things can help us a lot when it comes to our visibility. And even with bigger brands, that even though they have a lot of fundings and marketers that can help build their visibility online, some of those brands move slow and it sometimes takes a lot of time to make decisions. So as medium-sized to small business size people like us in the small to medium-sized business realm, we can move a lot more agile, a lot less critical with how we position our brand online. But that means that we can create more content. So for finale, the things that we can do without being dependent on external approvals or anything like that, or getting backlinks from other websites, we can do a lot of this work on our own. So that includes improving the copy on our website, creating more content, being more specific about what we offer. Images also getting a lot more attention mention on websites these days. So having the alt text provided on an image, creating images that people might want to share. If you have good infographics, we have some good infographics on our website, and we get backlinks because people will find them on Google and then they're like, oh, I want to use this in my blog, it seems like it's fitting. And then they just cite our website because the images are high quality or the infographics have high quality. So improving your technicality, like speed and stuff like that on the website, really improves also some signals for search engines. Blogging on your site, putting a lot of testimonials these days to improve your website for LLMs and ChatGPT and stuff. Putting an FAQ section in almost all your blogs. An FAQ section means a lot these days for those LLMs because you're answering questions for them to understand what you're offering or what you're providing or how it works. All contributes to you being positioned at high search position. Invest in your listings and brand mentions. So just work you can do outside your website includes obviously all those free listings. Get on that, get someone to do that, work on that regularly. Brand mentions, so trying to get collaborations with other businesses or clients or other websites you have access to get your brand mentioned in those sites. Basically, the more visibility you have or the more your name is mentioned as a brand, the more trust those LLMs and search engines will have in your business, and that way you obviously have higher priority. Social media content, again, it's a big one. If you can create content, great. If you don't want to be in front of a camera, there's other ways that you can do that. But essentially, the more content you create on social media, that also contributes to your visibility on search engines and LLMs. So in this video, I didn't really want to sound like, oh yeah, I know, I need to work on my website. I just wanted to highlight the fact that your website is becoming more and more important, especially as people behavior starts shifting towards using LLMs to get quick answers, quick products, quick services. Websites in the future that have more content, their business name is mentioned in more sites, will obviously get a priority. So businesses that pick up on that now, and instead of doing like billboard advertising, some conventional stuff, I'm not saying it's bad, but if they focus more on directing that budget or directing that fundings towards your visibility online and the quality of your website, the website is just going to be such a strong pillar for businesses in the future. And if you do that, then you will just have a lot more chances to just appear in more areas for people that search products or services. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video and you're enjoying the information about how you can optimize your business, especially focusing on websites, please give it a like. Subscribe if you're into marketing, business development. I do want to provide more information about how you can optimize your business, how you can market better, how you can basically scale and grow. And this is what this channel is about. See you next time.